Perfect.
Good to go.
So I show it to be 6:31 on Tuesday, March 2nd, 2021. I'd like to bring the Board of Public Works meeting to order. Roll call, Mayor Kim Smith.
Here.
Diane Wolf is present. Alderperson Stephen Knott.
Present.
Jared Holter.
Here.
Fred Bueller.
Here.
And also please note in attendance is Kevin Schubert, our Assistant City Engineer, and also Nils Hausker. Approval of minutes from previous meeting.
I move to approve the minutes. I'll second.
Motion by Mayor Kim, second by Alder Knott. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor of said motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Item number 3, public input, limited to 3 minutes per individual. If there is anyone in the audience who would like to give input at this time, they may do so. Please approach the microphone and state your first and last name and your home address, and you have 3 minutes. Are you here to give public input? Perfect, okay. Is there anyone online, do we see?
I would like to give input as well.
Can you go ahead again, sir?
My name is John Drake, and I'd like to give input.
And sir, could you say your name again a little bit louder and also your home address, please? Thank you. And you have 3 minutes.
Yeah, John Drake. My address is 150 Fairway Court in Onalaska. And I'm the owner number 12 on the list of properties to be assessed for sidewalk in Greens Coulee. I would like the council to remove my empty lot and the empty lot next to it, for that matter, from the current assessment. My lot is on the west side of Summersday Lane in Greens Coulee. The east side of the lane already has plenty of sidewalk. I've failed to see why there must be more sidewalk at this time on my side of the lane when half of its 8 lots are still not built on. In addition, one of the lots on my side of the lane has a house on it with no sidewalk, and it's not included in the assessment. I really don't like the idea of paying over $6,000 for sidewalk before my lot has a house on it, and then have to maintain it when I don't live on the lot because there's no house there, and then have to repair or replace the sidewalk when the lot is eventually built on. If the city wants to build more sidewalk in Greens Coulee, I would respectfully suggest that look at the rows of houses that have no sidewalk and not at contiguous empty lots in low traffic areas like Summersday Lane. The south side of Spring Hill Way, for example, has many houses but no sidewalk. Streets like Tahoe Drive and Olympic Drive are built up on both sides, yet have sidewalk on only one side. Again, my side of Summersday Lane is half empty. There is already sidewalk on the other side of the street, so I respectfully ask that you not oblige me to put in sidewalk at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your input.
Sir, can I have you repeat your address, please, one more time?
Yeah,
Could
I
you-
live
I
at
didn't catch that
one.
either. Your address was?
So I have a lot at 843 Summersday Lane, but I live at 150 Fairway Court.
Thank you. And what was your last name again?
Drake.
Drake, thank you.
You're welcome.
It's from the list. John Drake, D-R-A-K-E.
number 12.
Which number is it?
Number 12 on the final assessment for the sidewalk list.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else, Jared, who is in the wings waiting to give public input at this time?
I do not see anyone else besides our audience member, and we can have more discussion during the public hearing.
Okay, so second call for public input at this time. Third and final call. Hearing none, we'll move on with the printed agenda. Consideration and possible action on the following items. Number 4, public hearing, approximately 6:30 p.m. or immediately following public input regarding proposed concrete sidewalk and concrete apron assessments at various locations throughout the city. So I would like to go ahead and open up the public hearing at this time. Those who would like to go ahead and give public input. Just 1 second. Ooh, 3 people.
We just want to make sure we can hear you.
It's on. Fred, there you go.
Just talk softly. I live on 2124 Walnut Place, and then they want, or you,
Did you hear him?
assessment
We
was
cannot hear you.
2124 is what I heard, which,
Walnut Place. Sorry,
Number 10.
Number 10.
I can sit back. How's that?
10.
So the assessment is for us, my lot goes down to Summersday Lane. And the assessment is to put a sidewalk on the Summersday Lane. And my first point is there's a sidewalk on the east side of Summersday Lane, and nobody uses that sidewalk. I sit out in the mornings on my porch and in the evenings and read, and everybody walks in the street, even the lot next to me on Summerday Lane, if it would be, if you're facing Summerday Lane to the right, they have a dog, with a wire, and it barks, and people come right up to their property on the street. Kids ride their bikes, families come down that street. I mean, actually, I think a better use would be to put lanes, like white lanes on the street, have a bike lane, a walk lane, a running lane. And the other place that people walk a lot is that if you go down, if you look at the map, Summersday Lane goes into a cul-de-sac. And what is it? There's Fair Meadows Way. If you go past Fair Meadows Way, there's a little cul-de-sac there. And people walk there continually. They come down Summersday Lane, that's a little turnaround, where they come up by the pond and, walk that way. I mean, I think if there was some lanes there on the side of the road, people would walk and ride their bikes to stay out of the middle of the road. But people generally just don't. I mean, you can come, I would suggest this coming to watch. The other place that would be nice to have a sidewalk would be around the pond. There's a little gazebo and people walk there. But it's, most of the time it's muddy, and people, when it's nice, you'll see people walking on the grass with their dogs and their kids. The other thing, the assessment's $13,000. That's, really steep bill, to put on something that, the city doesn't plow Walnut Place where I live, now, and you want me to pay another $13,000 in taxes? I don't think it's very fair. I think, let me just look, I think those were all my points. Thanks for listening.
Great, thank you. Okay, anyone else who would like to give input for the public hearing at this time? Second call for input at the public hearing. Jared?
Just wanted to point out in your packet tonight that you did have a email included in your packet from an owner at 834 Rolling Oaks Drive, giving public comment also.
Thank you. Third and final call for anyone who would like to give input at public hearing regarding proposed concrete sidewalk and concrete apron assessments. Carried and seeing none, I will close the public hearing and move on to item 5. Before we do that, Fred, is there any way to cut the circulation or whatever that is? It's just very loud.
Yeah,
A lot. You should have done that before
Yeah. Thank you, Fred.
Mr. Bonweiss was.
Yeah, but I think I caught the gist of, yes. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Fred. So item number 5, resolution 18-04, 2021 final resolution regarding assessments for concrete sidewalk and concrete apron at various locations. I will turn this over to Jared.
Thank you. One thing I'd like to point out tonight in your handout, I did hand out an updated assessment sheet. Properties number 2 and 3 are LB White on, with properties along the Abbey Road. Those properties, upon further investigation after the agenda went out, there was an agreement with LB White for the installation of Abbey Road with the, between the city, the owner of LB White, which was Mr. Tony Wilson, and Mr. Mike Took, that owned the vacant land to the north of LB White. That three-way agreement, as part of that, the city was to install all the improvements of the roadway, street, curb and gutter, sidewalks, and things as they were shown on the plan. And when we did the assessments, we did not take into account that agreement. So we actually went back through and removed the assessments for numbers 2 and 3. Those will have to be a city cost incurred as part of the bonding for the project due to that previous agreement. And I did check with the city attorney, and she concurred with that statement. In your packet tonight, also just all of the assessments in general. These are infill areas throughout the city. I have heard from quite a few owners, plus the public comments we did receive tonight. With that, the areas are the one site on Rolling Oaks Drive, which has a worn walkway through it. It's the last sidewalk that isn't installed along Rolling Oaks, and it's right next to the park. One of the other ones is along Wilson Street, owned by Ultra Credit Union, an undeveloped parcel, which is one last link in the sidewalk system in that area. And there's I've gotten calls from quite a few people along Barson Court, Barson Village, that walked that circuit and are requesting that sidewalk to be installed. And then the third major area of your sidewalk installations tonight are Green Coulee area. And in this area, we are proposing to order in sidewalks on empty lots that had the sidewalk shown as part of the master sidewalk plan. There's one in Aspen Valley. That subdivision was put in 1999. There's actually quite a few in the Savannah Oaks subdivision that were discussed tonight during the public hearing. That subdivision was approved in 2007, so those lots are 13 years old now. We are starting to see more infill in those areas than we had before. Some of those lots had sat for a little bit, but they are starting to fill out. With that, the empty lots, it's really a tough thing. When is the right time to install the sidewalk before the home is in? And we've been through this other years. One instance, a few years ago, we ordered in a sidewalk in Elmwood Hills. The subdivision was 20 years old. And you know, it's just a tough thing, no matter which subdivision we're in, and what's the right amount of time before we do install it. So that is ones along, I would say, Spring Hill Way, along Stonebridge Drive, and probably the east side of Summers Day Lane. East side of Summers Day Lane, actually, one of those is the existing farmhouse that was in the subdivision before the subdivision actually went in. So that house is actually existing and hasn't never installed the sidewalk because there was no requirement as part of the building, because the building was already there. We have received comments tonight on the west side of Summers Day Lane. So the two empty lots, once again, fall into that, in the 843, 857 area, fall into that. When is the right time to install the sidewalk? And then we did have the owner of 2124 Walnut Place come in, gave us public comment tonight. And the reason the sidewalk is shown along there is we're trying to get it up along to Spring Hill Lane so you can make a circuit, so that way the sidewalk that is installed is not just a dead end in the middle of the block. The one at 2124 Walnut Place is a very difficult one. Got a lot of frontage, and their house actually has access off of the top from Walnut Place. So they don't actually cross the sidewalk to get to the sidewalk. So it is a unique site in that area. Just with the, sidewalks are always one of the hardest things to have projects for. No one wants to pay for the sidewalk. No one wants to shovel the sidewalk or maintain the sidewalk. So it's a matter of is it a benefit to the community? The policy decision whether we install the sidewalks. So with that, we brought forward to complete the sidewalk system basically in all the empty lots that had sidewalks slated in the Greens Coulee area. There are spots where the Plan Commission did not have sidewalk installed or did only put it on one side, but these are the areas that were slated for sidewalks. So I guess with that, I'd open it up for questions and or comments.
Thank you, Jared. Fred?
Jared, can you expand in reference to the gentleman that's spoken over the system here about Summers Day Lane versus the east and west side, one side over the other? What is your take?
So if you look at your packet tonight on page 8 of your packet, that shows a map of the proposed sidewalk installations in the Savannah Oaks neighborhood. We are proposing with this map to install the sidewalk at 926 and 926 Summer Lane and 941 Green Coulee Road, which would complete the sidewalk on the east side between Spring Hill Lane and where Summers Day Lane comes out to Greens Coulee Road. Then on the west side, you can see there's the black lines are sidewalk that's been installed already. So those are sidewalks that are in today. The houses that have been put in have been required to put the sidewalk in, have installed the sidewalk. We're also proposing to install the sidewalk at 857 and 843, where the sidewalk is a gap between the two existing houses. Also, then the sidewalk would extend along 2124 and a little bit into 975 to get to the corner of Spring Hill Lane to make a complete circuit. So, you know, I believe that if you're going to order in one, you've got to order them all in because you've got to get the circuit done. If the sidewalk is installed, I know one of the comments tonight was putting in a bike lane along the street. Typically, we have only done that in extreme cases where we have no right-of-way or we've got some other extenuating reason that we're not installing the sidewalk. But typically, the best place to have the pedestrians is off the street. So I guess with that, if you want to recognize the...
I'd like to hear from board members, and we'll come back to you, I promise. Any other questions of board members of Jared at this time? Alder Knott?
The sidewalk plans, they've been on file in the city for some time, I assume?
The original plat for Savannah Oaks had the sidewalk to be installed along all the lots that are shown, 2124 Walnut Place and 975 Summers Day Lane actually did not work with the original plat. 2124 Walnut Place was in its own plat because it was 5 acres called Tracy's plat. So that sidewalk was not required as part of the plat, but we added it to get the sidewalk to make the complete circuit. Otherwise, we're going to have to put either a crosswalk mid-block or the sidewalk's just going to end.
So, yeah, it's the last minute additions, I guess, that I do have some concerns with. I understand having a circuit that you want to complete where there's gaps. But in this case, this is one that wasn't actually on the plan that we're adding. And this is a fairly long one too, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, so the expense is pretty high. Why did we decide when the plan is to have one set of sidewalks on one side of the road that we wanted to add that one?
So the plan, I think when the Plan Commission, when Tracy's plat came in, the sidewalk just wasn't addressed because it was a single lot subdivision. Normally we have a group of lots, and I think it was just missed as part of the plat. With the 2 sides versus 1 side, typically it's up to the Plan Commission. In the newer subdivisions, the Plan Commission chooses when the subdivision comes in. We get a lot of discussion at the time, you know, do you need sidewalk on cul-de-sacs? You know, should we have sidewalk on cul-de-sacs? Should we have sidewalk on one side or 2 sides? That's always a discussion that There's not an equation that says it's the correct answer. It's typically what the plan commission feels that is the correct thing to do in the subdivision based upon what they think is going to happen.
So are there any other of the properties on any of these other maps in our packet that, oh, I apologize, I thought I had that on silent. All right, and that were additions that were not part of the original sidewalk plan, or is that the only one?
That is the only one on these maps. All the rest of them were part of the plat.
Okay,
Well, 975, there's a short stretch on 975, so that stretch on Summers Day Lane.
yep, okay, so it's part of that same addition. I always have concerns when we change the deal, if you will, especially if it involves an expense to the property owner. In the case of the others, I'm sure that it's coming to a surprise to some. I mean, how many of us actually go and ask for the plans? But the plans, if they're there, it does ultimately rely on the responsibility of the property owner before they purchase the property to look at these things. But I don't like changing plans midstream and then imposing a cost that they reasonably did not expect that they were going to have because it wasn't part of the plan. And it's a substantial cost in that one property.
And,
Go ahead.
we have in the past, so many areas of the city during the 60s, 70s, and early 80s were platted with no sidewalk. And in the 80s and 90s, the city ordered in blocks of sidewalk. And there's still areas that we show on our plan that have not been ordered in. But it's one that, based upon what we feel the circulation pattern to be and trying to make things so they appear correct, that's the reason it was added to the list.
Is it my turn?
Yeah. I could go to-
For now, yeah.
Sure. Mayor Kim?
Yeah, and definitely, I feel sympathetic to the homeowners and the big unanticipated bills, and I hear what Aldernott is saying, but what we have happen in these situations is we end up with the sidewalk to nowhere, and, you know, whoever's on the end is not going to be happy that the sidewalk just ends at their lot. And it does make more sense for the sidewalk to finish, you know, I'm talking about the Summers Day Lane issue. You know, it makes more sense for the sidewalk to go all the way up to a crossing street rather than to just suddenly stop in the middle. So I do think it is cleaning up something, correcting it. Although it is an expensive correction, it makes more sense to me. So that's my position.
So, sir, did you want to approach again and have additional input or questions?
No, I was bringing up what he brought up, why
A little bit closer to the microphone.
why you need sidewalk on both sides. And the other thing is that, did anybody come and look where people walk? Because they go down to that cul-de-sac. I mean, if you really felt there was a need for sidewalk, it should go all the way down around the cul-de-sac. It should go down Fair Meadows Lane. That's where people walk. You know, they come, you know, to get out of, you know, the traffic on Green Coulee, they come down Summers Day Lane. Like I said, they usually walk in the street, they go to that cul-de-sac, or they go down Fair Meadows by the pond. I mean, nobody is going to use the sidewalk in front of my lot. I can guarantee you. It's just going to sit there as a piece of cement. But if you come down and watch, come on a Sunday morning and watch what people do.
Thank you.
One thing to note is Fair Meadow Way is a private street, so we don't have any power to install sidewalk on Fair Meadow Way. They could actually, if the owners of the condo development there wanted to restrict it, they could actually restrict no access along that street if they wanted to. But I think I know they've got signs for no through vehicles, but obviously I think they don't mind the pedestrians coming through.
I'd like to ask a question. This is John Drake.
Yes, please, sir, go ahead.
Yeah, again, a question for Jared. Why is the sidewalk on the east side of Summers Day Lane not sufficient at present? I'm not against the sidewalk being put on the west side eventually, but I don't like the idea of the sidewalk going in before the houses do. And there's a house over by the cul-de-sac. It has no sidewalk. 1005 Summers Day Lane has no sidewalk and there's already a house there. And it's not being assessed for sidewalk.
So the Plan Commission did not order sidewalk in, and we did not order sidewalk in as part of this plan to the end of the cul-de-sac.
Mhm.
Doesn't mean it could not go in, but we did not have that as part of this plan because the sidewalk was already scheduled to be put in on Summers Day Lane along those lots on the west side of Summers Day Lane. So those
Say it was
lots,
scheduled. Were people informed of some time frame? Does it have to be now?
it's been 13 years since the lots were platted.
Right.
Typically, we
half-
order the
yeah.
sidewalk in after about 90% of the lots are filled, and we're getting close to probably 95% out in this subdivision.
Maybe, but on the west side of Summers Day Lane, we're half empty.
Thank you, John.
You're
So
welcome.
Any other discussion or input or questions of Jared at this time before we vote?
We don't have a motion.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, thank you. Jared?
I would also say maybe part of this also might be if you have particular changes you would like, is to go through changes or make motions on changes before you try and do the whole thing. If that is because there's multiple things here, and I know we've had different discussions on different areas and different spots. So that's just maybe something I would suggest.
Mayor Kim?
I feel like we've had the same kind of discussion multiple times in the past. The most recent one I'm thinking of is by 12th Avenue, where there was that large empty lot that we let go without the sidewalk for a long period of time. And it never gets easier. Like there always seems to be a push to put off putting in the sidewalks. And we never get to this window where everyone wants to, okay, we'll have the sidewalk now. I definitely understand when there's construction, especially substantial construction, that it can damage the sidewalk and then it would need to be repaired. But I really wouldn't advocate for putting it off. I don't think it's fair to the people that already put the sidewalks in, or the people that spent the time making the plan to think that it was needed for the public safety to have a sidewalk there. So I'll make a motion to, we can do an amendment afterwards if we need to, but just to get us moving forward, I'll make a resolution to, a motion to approve resolution 18-2021.
I'll second that.
And then if someone wants to amend it, that's fine.
So motion by Mayor Kim, second by Alder Wolf to approve Resolution 18-2021. Discussion.
For clarification, that's with the assessments as outlined in the handout tonight with the 15 that's that we handed out tonight.
Dated the new assessment
Yeah.
handout.
Dated 3/1.
Correct, with the idea that if there is a change, we could amend the motion.
Yep, okay.
Yeah, the one dated March 1st, 2021.
Yes.
Thank you. Under discussion, Fred.
Jared, can you explain, just for getting it in the minutes, all these prices compared to I mean, the interest rates where they are for borrowing, this cost per square foot compared to prior?
Well, we always estimate conservatively, so, you know, we would hope that the prices would bid lower than what we have. We actually, when these go in, we bid the actual cost plus the 7.5% administrative fee. And as part of this, the city will charge whatever their interest rate that we borrow the money for during the capital improvements process, budgeting process, plus 1%, and then split it over, amortize it over 20 years, which is what we borrow the money for. So if the property sells in that time, it becomes due and payable. But if someone lives there for 20 years, they would pay it over 20 years if they so choose. Is that kind of where you're looking for, Fred?
So $8.60 cost per square foot is pretty close to what it's been for the last 4 years or 5.
Yeah, we haven't really ordered a lot of sidewalk in the last, I think this is the first time, probably been 4 years since we ordered any in. So it does include some grading, includes the installation of sidewalk and then the landscaping going behind it. So it's a little more than the sidewalk program where we just take out chunks and replace it.
Kevin Schubert.
Yeah, I put the estimate together, so each of the last couple of years in our miscellaneous concrete project, I do have a bid item for stuff, sort of with the Parks Department where we're putting in new sidewalks. So last year, there was a bid item for 4-inch sidewalk with 6 inches of graded base, and I think that was $7.25 a square foot. So that's sort of what I based this estimate on here for this. Then we have to charge the 7.5% administrative fee over that and a little extra for this year prices just naturally going up. And just like Jared said, just trying to be conservative where this is the most we can charge a resident. If the bid prices come in higher than these, the city has to pay the difference. So we do try to stay conservative in these estimates that this is probably most likely for all the owners. They will not pay this amount, but it's something reduced at bid time. So there is some factors of conservativeness in there for the owners and for the city's sake.
Thank you for that, Kevin. Much appreciated. Alder Knott?
I do want to caution us, though, that, although we all hope they come in under, we have to go with the planning figures we have right now, and that's what we encourage the property owners to be planning on for budget as well. So hopefully it's less, but we can't, plan on that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Alder Knott?
Yeah, so going back to my prior statements, I'm going to make an amendment motion. My concern is just on the 2 properties that were not part of the plan. All the rest of the sidewalk plans, again, I really applaud the city and the staff for bringing these to completion. It's pretty clear, I think, too, that in all the other cases that sidewalk had to go in there. They're connecting the dots, if you will. But these other 2, that changed, again, in my mind, changed the deal at the last minute. There are sidewalks on the other side of the street. So any property owner there who would, purchase property there would still have access to sidewalks on the other side of the street. I just don't like changing the deal on them. So I'm going to propose an amendment that we remove, was it 2124 Walnut Place and 975 Summers Day Lane, is that correct? From this plan.
So it's number 9. and which other one?
124, that's number 10. And what number is it, 975, number 9?
Correct.
Okay. So motion by Alder Knott, amendment is to remove items number 9 and 10 from the final assessment list from the resolution. Is there a second? Is there a second? Motion dies for lack of a second. Any other discussion at this time? Mayor Kim?
Yeah, I just thank you for that, Stephen, but I just really feel that if we were to pass that motion, then the property owners at 857 Summersday Lane and 843 Summersday Lane would be very upset about that because they would have in effect paid for a sidewalk to nowhere. And the one before that, I think that the proposal we have is what's best for the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion at this time? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor of passing Resolution 18-2021 in its entirety as presented tonight, packet 3 dated 3/1/21, that is, I believe, 15 parcels. Jared?
One other note, did you want to address the request that was in your packet tonight from the owner of 834 Rolling Oaks Drive?
He wants a 1-year delay.
Correct.
This person, I'll just read his request. Please accept my request for 1-year extension of the sidewalk. Allow me to have my driveway contractor install a sidewalk when they do my driveway. If for some reason we do change our minds and not building, I will install a sidewalk at that time no later than the spring of 2022. So this person is stating they're going to start their home in hopefully early spring 2022. I guess that is their request. I have been conveying to some of the homeowners that are starting their homes. There's a couple of spots on Spring Hill Way that are starting their homes this spring. They're coming in for building permits. Obviously, if they've started construction by the time we go to put the sidewalk in August, we're not gonna put it in, even if it's on the list. If they've got a foundation in and things like that, we won't put it in. And those owners have stated they will be having it in right away this spring, so they'll start construction.
They've actually demonstrated movement.
Yeah, this owner here is asking for actually a little longer than that. So it's up to the,
And that's item number 1 on the list, and this is the one that's by the park where
correct.
everything else has been, because yes, I'm very familiar with this one, because this one was turned into me personally.
But he is, in all fairness, also saying that there is an end to this. He's giving a no later than date with this of 1 year from spring. So, I mean, define spring, it would be nice if we could lock him down to a date, but basically it's about a year from now. He's saying that if it's not in, he'll put it in.
Mayor Kim?
So Jared, how would that work then? He would just hire a contractor to do it and Kevin would just go and inspect it by the date? And then what if he didn't have it in?
So if what the city will do is we will bid out a miscellaneous concrete project that'll include this work coming up here. Hopefully have it back for the April meeting. We'll award a bid and then we'll put it on the schedule. Typically, this work will be done August, September of the year. So obviously, if the sidewalk's there, and as Assistant City Engineer Schubert just pointed out, if the people would choose to install the sidewalk themselves and feel they can get a better deal than the city doing it, if the sidewalk's installed by the time we come to do it, obviously it's going to be there. So we do allow people to contract their own work if they feel that that's in their best interest. Maybe they're a concrete contractor. We don't know that. So maybe they feel they can do it at a better deal to still meet city specifications. But this one here is, if we don't give this individual a extension when we come through in August, if they haven't started their house, it's going to get put in.
Kevin?
With the extension, this might be to Fred, how would we have to, since we're bidding this work through the 2021 miscellaneous concrete project, and that's where the bid prices will be for these assessments, how would we handle this extension then coming back in 2022 potentially to put it in if he did not install it by the given date?
We would
have to hold the contract open, or?
We could either hold the contract open or rebid the work, and the final assessment costs would be approved again as a different final assessment cost in 2022. Either way would suffice and meet the letter of the conditions.
Stephen Knott?
Okay, yeah, so, I mean, if he wants to do construction, and we just mentioned that, doing construction can damage sidewalks that are already in place. This is such a short time. I think that we can hold him to it. He says spring, so if it's not in by the first day of summer, I'll just make an amendment. I guess I'd like to propose an amendment that the property at 834 Rolling Oaks Drive receive their 1-year delay and to put in their own sidewalk. If it is not in by the first day of summer of 2022, that we reserve the right to come in with an open contract and complete the work.
I'll second that.
So motion by Alder Knott, seconded by Mayor Kim.
We just say the date though. What is that, June?
Right, to remove item 1, grant them the 1-year delay, and that they have until the first day, did you say first day of summer?
First day of summer of 2022, that gives them all spring, yeah.
And if it's not in, if he hasn't put it in, then the city of Alaska will go ahead and order it in.
Correct.
And under discussion, summer.
So we would either keep the contract open, or we would put it in with our new bid for 2022, have the work in there where they could have the contractor do it shortly thereafter that date. Which either way would work.
Do you need that specified right now?
No, as long as we have a date, we're fine.
Okay. Just so the homeowner realizes this price on this sheet today might not be the price he's paying, or they, or whoever. Okay. I'm fine with that as long as we have a end date, because that's where the trouble comes in with the unbuilt lots.
So Jared, if I may ask, I realize that he bought this, I think he bought it, I think he said, was it in 16, I think I read, and I confirmed that information.
Yes, 2016.
Thank you. So how long is this addition? Would you say did it originally start?
This edition here, I would say, was probably about in that same 2005 time range. I believe it was before I took over as city engineer, so I think it's the year before, so it's right about 2005.
Okay, thank you. The reason why I'm asking is because I know this is one that I was approached about, and I turned it to staff, and I think it was already, from what I understand, it was already on the list. I will not be supporting the amendment this evening, just based on the years, and because it was turned in, and I've driven this area many times, and it abuts along next to a park, and there is a path so well worn down. This area serves so many different neighborhoods, and that is just not that one specific neighborhood. So I will not be supporting the amendment this evening. So any other discussion on the amendment? Mayor Kemp.
Yeah, I just want to say, Diane, that while I hear what you're saying, I somewhat disagree because this past year has been really difficult for people who have lots and want to build. With construction costs have skyrocketed, the economy has been uncertain. I think that definitely the past year or so has not been a good time for people to move forward with building. So I'm excited to hear that so many people are getting ready to build out in this neighborhood. We'll look forward to seeing them out in their community, walking on the sidewalks, and then give these people just one more little, hopefully we'll be able to give these people a little bit more time to get together for their construction until next year.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other discussion at this time on the amendment? Hearing none, all those in favor of the amendment to give item number 1 a 1-year delay for punching in a sidewalk, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. So I believe that is 4-1, and Diane is a nay. Okay, thank you. And so back to the original resolution, the amended resolution 18-2021. Any further discussion on that? One last time, I'll give you 1 minute or less, sir. But you need the microphone because we do want to hear you.
So
Unfair to people whose
A
sidewalks.
little bit
and some-
closer, please.
Sorry.
No, just closer to the microphone. We want to hear you.
No, thanks. You said it's unfair to people because their sidewalks end, but then my sidewalk's gonna end. And like I said before, most of the people walk to that cul-de-sac and Summers Day Lane. So I mean, the sidewalk should go all the way around the cul-de-sac. And again, most of the people walk down Fair Meadows Way, you know, so it's not fair to me that the sidewalk just ends at my property. You know, and like, you know, the alderman said, you know, this wasn't part of my plan, you know, that I'd have to put in a sidewalk when I bought the lot, when I bought Tracy's lot.
Thank you, sir. So any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the amended resolution 18-2021, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Sir, thank you for coming in this evening. Item number 6, review and consideration of construction project management for 2021 City of Onalaska fiber optic project. Jared.
Thank you. Item number 6 tonight is the construction management for the 2021 fiber optic project. This will be the fiber optic cable project where we'll be linking city buildings through the agreement with the Onalaska School District. Livermore Technologies has performed the design of our fiber optic connection system. They also did the work for the school district and also the construction management for the school district. This contract, this agreement would be for $16,720, was included in the 2020-21 capital improvement budget for this project. Will include site visits, questions during bidding. During day-to-day construction, the engineering department will handle the day-to-day construction activities and/or questions, but we need the technical person to come do the punch list for us and just look at things and be available for questions. So we're recommending approval of the services, and it was planned as part of the project.
Thank you, Jared.
I move we approve the project contract for $16,720 to Livermore Technologies.
Second.
Motion by Mayor Kim, second by Aldernaut to approve the fiber optic project and award to Livermore Technologies in the amount of $16,720. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor of said motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Item number 7, review and consideration of 2021 East Main Street and Green Coulee Road Roundabout Project, including change order number 1. Jared.
Well, it's been 20 years, but I'm here to say we've got a bid to do the project at the entrance to Greens Coulee Road.
This has been a good year for things that we've been waiting a long time for.
So the city did its first study in 1999. Been looking at this for a long time as development has progressed in Green Coulee. We did start out with a project that had 5 alternatives, and originally the roundabout was in the range of $1.5 million. We hired MSA to do the design, and we budgeted $1.2 million with an estimated cost of the project at $1,130,000. We got closer to bid time, and that engineer's estimate dropped down to $1,030,000. So we were, with the bidding environment at the time we bid this, we were hoping for a bid in the 900,000 range. As you can see tonight, we received very favorable bids. We actually received 5 bids, and the low bid of $758,023.05 from Gerke Excavating was in order. We did talk to the contractor, and they are very excited to do the work, feel they can do it for the amount they bid. So with that, we have the monies budgeted. We would like to address a possible change order, but if we can address the awarding of the contract first, then we can maybe address the change order as part of it also. But staff's recommending the installation of the roundabout at Green Coulee and East Main Street for Gerke Excavating.
Thank you, Jared.
I move that we accept the bid from Gerke Excavating with the amount of $758,023.05 for the construction of the East Main Greens Coulee Roundabout.
I'll second.
Motion by Mayor Kim, second by Aldernaut to award the bid for the Green Coulee Roundabout to Gerke Excavating, Inc. in the amount of $758,023.05. Discussion. Hearing none. All those in favor of said motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed.
No, I just want you to know that the way this is read, that's fine. You're going to actually take the change order also as part of number 7.
We're going to get.
We're going to do another
We're going to
one.
talk about that next, yes. I asked Jared earlier about breaking it out because that's going to have a little bit more discussion, but yes. And any opposed? No, motion carries unanimously. Thank you. And Jared, if you would go ahead and then talk a little bit about the beacons.
Yeah, so as part of the capital improvements budget, we did have an item for rapid flashing beacons. So those are the ones that you see along Sand Lake Road or over by Green Coulee Road presently. We had them in for the intersection of East Main and 21st Avenue to go into the Sandalwood subdivision. During capital improvements budget time, we actually reappropriated those dollars back to Quincy Street for the fact that we thought that was a better spot to hopefully alleviate the use of a crossing guard. So the East Main Street and 21st Avenue was taken out and deleted. When we went through and looked at these bids and looked at the project that we have on that corridor, being the Green Coulee Roundabout, we've had requests not only for 21st, but also Midwest Drive. We get a lot of pedestrian traffic in that area with people wanting to go to the other side of the road, to go to either Elmwood Hills or walk along that side of the road and then eventually get back over by Green Coulee. We also get a lot of walkers in that area that are at those businesses during the day. So we looked at doing a change order proposal for both intersections, putting in rapid flashing beacons to assist with pedestrian movements in this area. That road has 7,000 to 8,000 cars a day on it. You know, it's pretty busy. It's not as busy as it is by Green Coulee, but it's still very busy. So staff wanted to bring it for your review. It would be $40,950 for the change order, but would do both intersections. That's in line with the costs that we had prepared looking at the 2021 capital improvement budget, what we're seeing for costs. So the change order is in line with what we think the costs are. We don't feel they're inflated. So just looking for what the board might want to do with that, especially in light of checking off another project off the one that was deleted from the 21 capital improvements list and having the savings from the original project on that corridor.
Thank you, Jared. Mayor Kim.
Right, okay, I would like fundamentally support that. I like the idea of getting the beacons here, but I'm not sure procedurally, do we have any past practice of including an unrelated change order to a project?
Go ahead.
Address that. So there are existing rapid flashing beacons at the intersection of East Main Street and Greens Coulee Road. As part of the roundabout project, those will be removed and the contractor will have to store them, and then they will be reinstalled as part of the project. So while yes, this is a different intersection, the project does contain, excuse me, rapid flashing beacons in the East Main Street corridor. And that's why we tried to put this change order with this project.
And I think part of the reason we brought it forward was because we have added during our paving projects, you know, we've bid out, typically when we have a paving project and usually our capital improvement program, we'll have 3 or 4 different areas of streets we're doing. And it always seems like one area gets deleted. So we'll bid out as an alternate whatever areas were deleted, and if we have enough funds in that project, we'll end up doing all the streets, which hopefully we get a good bid price and we can do more work. So we've done it that way before and done that. So I feel, you know, we're kind of doing the same thing with a project that was deleted from the capital improvements program, trying to do that. So I feel if it was a brand new project that wasn't in the capital improvements program, I think I would agree with the mayor that it would probably be a stretch to include it, but I think since it's on the same general area and it was deleted, I think it could be added.
Thank you for that.
Thank you, Jared. And Mayor, I appreciate you bringing that up because I certainly understand where you're coming from. Alder Knott?
Yeah, I can't speak for the existing rapid flashing crossing that is at that location now at where the roundabout is going to go in, and that is used a lot, just from my own observation. It's quite often I see people crossing over there, so, and that is a very busy street.
Well, and if I may follow up too, thank you, Alder Knott. Jared, I know I was really disappointed that we ran out of money this last capital improvements this last fall for the beacons. So I appreciate staff bringing this forward, and especially when we had the low bid for Green Coulee, because I think it's a very worthwhile investment in our infrastructure and for our citizens. So
I'll go ahead then and move that we approve the Greens Coulee Reservoir change order number 1 to install the 2 flashing light beacons, one at East Main and 20th, one at East Main and Midwest Drive, at a cost not to exceed $40,950.
I'll second.
motion by Mayor Kim, second by Alder Knott. Discussion. Kevin, bless you.
Mayor Kim, I think you accidentally read off.
Oh, I read the
Number
wrong.
8,
Yes.
because you said
okay.
reservoir and not
Rewind.
roundabout.
This
Just
is,
for the record.
okay, this is change order number 1, but it's for the Greens Coulee Roundabout project. I completely misstated when I said reservoir. So this is a change order for the roundabout project. The rest of what I said was correct. Sorry about that. Thank you for catching it, Kevin.
So
My
Eddie,
eyes just went down.
and I didn't even hear it because I was just excited about getting the beacons. I had already moved on.
Well, then I flipped and I was like, oops.
Any other discussion at this time? Hearing none, all those in favor of said motion say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Item number 8, review and consideration of Green Coulee Reservoir change order number 1. Jared.
In your packet tonight, we have proposed change order number 1. This change order is part of the Green Coulee Reservoir project. Does have 4 items, and they are described in the change order number 1. First one is the upgrade of the fabric underneath the roadway for better stabilization. Once we got into the project, we wanted to really make sure we had a good sound base going up the hill for the concrete trucks. Number B, C, and D are all items that were part of the DNR approval of the project. But we bid the project before we had the final approval, and these were added as part of the final approval, so we had to change order these in. We did have $75,000 slated as a contingency for this project. And item D, the exterior roof coating of $21,431 actually came in quite a bit less than what we had anticipated that it might come in at. So feel very favorable about this change order. It's all things that either added a lot of value or were required by the DNR.
Thank you, Jared.
I move to approve the Greens Coulee Water Reservoir change order number 1, items A through D, for a net amount of $28,248.
Second.
Motion by Mayor Kim, second by Alder Knott to approve change order number 1 in the total amount of $28,248. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor of said motion say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes unanimously. Item number 9, review and consideration of professional engineering services for general projects. Jared.
Thank you. In your packet tonight, we have a proposed agreement with Strand Associates. We do hire them for various miscellaneous projects during the year. We have hired them to do a lot of the electrical work at our wells. We have a relationship with the engineer there that we have things that are happening quite frequently with either, as I said, the generators, SCADA, electrical components, things such as that we use quite a bit. And then also we use them for some traffic engineering work and or other things that just come up during the year. If we would move forward with this, we've had this contract over the years, every couple of years for probably the last 10, and things always come up. There's always things happening. There's always a development coming in. We want to have something reviewed or we have an item that we're just not sure about with all the specialized components and equipment we have within the city. So if this comes up, it would be on call and it would be paid out of the accounts for either the water, sewer, stormwater utility, whatever function is in need of the help, and or if there's a capital improvements project that we're doing that we need some assistance on, it would be used for that. So with that, staff is recommending approval of the general engineering services not to exceed $10,000 with Strand Associates.
Thank you, Jared.
I'd make that in the form of a motion.
Okay, motion by Jared,
Second.
second by Mayor Kim to approve not to exceed up to $10,000 for Strand Associates to provide engineering assistance on various projects as they occur. Discussion.
Just for clarity, I want to say that the work would be funded from the operating accounts for the department or project fund that the work would be done for, and that it wouldn't be exceeding $10,000.
Correct.
Thank you. Any other discussion at this time? Hearing none, all those in favor of said motion say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Item number 10, review and consideration of 2021 utility project bid. Jared.
I did hand out tonight a bid tabulation for the 2021 utility project. We did receive 4 bids today for that project. That project does include work on Second Avenue Southwest and Green Bay Street within the city. The project in the capital improvement budget, those 2 projects had a budget of approximately $1.2 million. We did receive a total base bid, low bid from McCabe Construction of $1,055,383.50. And we also did have 4 bid alternates. Staff is recommending McCabe Construction for the base bid and the 4 bid alternates at a total award of $1,072,160. That does fall within the amount that we had budgeted for the project. McCabe they actually did our utility project last year. We're very pleased with what work they did and performed, and would recommend that we would award it to McCabe.
Thank you, Jared.
I move that we award the bid to McCabe Construction, the base bid plus alternates for a total of $1,072,160.
I'll second.
Motion by Mayor Kim, second by Alder Knott, to award the 2021 utility project to McCabe Construction for a total amount of $1,072,162. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor of said motion say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Item 11, review and consideration of 2021 vehicle bids. Jared.
In your packet tonight, I have a memo outlining the purchase of 3 vehicles that were included as part of the 2021 budget. With that, we do have 1 vehicle for the engineering department, a Ford Ranger, cost of $28,540. We have a Ford Escape, which is replacing 2 City Hall fleet vehicles. We're going to replace 2 with 1 for $21,134. And then we also have a Ford F-250 pickup truck for the fire department, total cost of $37,307. This actual 3rd vehicle for the fire department will be utilizing funds from the original aerial apparatus with the bid savings that we received by paying early and just the savings on the purchase of that vehicle. We have funds that we can purchase this new command vehicle, which will replace one of the existing 2006 vehicles. And that way then this was in their plan for vehicle replacement that's submitted with the capital improvements budget each year. So we're getting something done ahead of time, so we're not seeing it next year. So I guess, and this is through Ewald Automotive, through the state bid, all bid on the Department of Administration state bid process, so.
Thank you, Jared. Wishes of the board.
I'll make a motion that we approve the 2021 vehicle purchases for the Ford Ranger 4-wheel drive, Ford Escape, and Ford F-250. I get a total, if I'm right here, of $86,981.
I'll second.
Motion by Stephen Knott, second by Mayor Kim, to approve the purchase of the 3 vehicles as per our packet. Discussion. Stephen?
Just, you need to do my shopping, because I don't know how you found a 4-wheel drive F-250 for $37,000. It's got to be about $13,000 less than usual.
It is, there's about a $13,000 state discount on there. The state bid, Fred knows, we've purchased state vehicles in my 25 years here. Almost all of our vehicles have been bought off the state bid, and we've get contacted many times by other vendors, and we say, if you match the price, you can do it, but there's so much of a volume through the state bid that they get discounts that we normally can't see, so.
Yeah, that's huge. Okay.
And it's not a stripped down, these aren't stripped down vehicles either.
That was my first, it was like, does it come with a roof? I was just.
Floorboards?
Exactly.
Self-pedaling. Oh, any other discussion? All in favor of said motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Item 12, review and consideration of 2021 tandem axle truck bid. Jared.
Thank you. Staff did bid out the 2021 cab and chassis truck bid. We will be bringing forward at next month's meeting the equipment package for this truck, which will include the box and plow, wing, electronics package, all the things that make the truck what it is when we're plowing and using it. So this is the bare bones cab and chassis. Part of this, we did trade off with it, our 1999 Chevy plow truck, and we actually received, if you look at option E for the trade-in, received a very favorable trade-in for how old that truck is. So we did incorporate that into this proposal. We did send out 5 bid packages to various truck centers, did include in the newspaper as part of this. So with that, we did receive 2 bids. The staff is recommending the award to DeBusch Truck for an international at the price with the trade of $81,915. That's within we had $88,000 in the capital improvements budget for this purchase.
Jared?
I'll make a motion that we approve the purchase of the tandem axle truck from the Bouch Truck for the sum of not to exceed $81,915.
Second.
Motion by Aldernaut, second by Mayor Kim, to approve the purchase of the 2021 tandem axle truck bid from DeBosch Truck in the amount of $81,915. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor of said motion say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Item 13, review and consideration of Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources Water System Sanitary Survey. Jared?
So this is kind of an oxymoron. A sanitary survey is actually of our water system. So this is performed every 3 years by the Wisconsin DNR. As we have in the past, we've shown very good reports on our water system, which is very indicative of our staff. Our staff takes great pride in our water system, does perform many tasks proactively, does a great job of maintenance in our water system. And also, we've been supported by the residents and elected officials in being able to keep up with maintenance and the purchase of items and equipment over the years that has allowed us to keep our water system in what I feel is a high level. So I'm just going to go through a couple of things in the sanitary report here. Second paragraph, the first page, it just says the sanitary survey is to evaluate systems, source, facilities, equipment, operation, maintenance, and management as it relates to providing safe drinking water. So that is really what this is about. If you go to the second page, which is page 69 in your packet, we have no significant deficiencies listed, and we've only got 2 deficiencies listed. And one of them we've already done, and the other one with some seals that are reservoir hatch gaskets. We're waiting for a little bit warmer weather coming up here, and we'll get that done so we can get things fixed up there. And both of these are really minor in comparison to what you look at for other systems. If you went online and looked at our systems, you'd be amazed what you'd find in some of these reports over the years. We have no non-conforming features. There's a variety of information on our water system, whether it's water quality, how we pump water, lead and copper, things like that. And then I just go to the conclusion and response, the first paragraph under that, but the second sentence. Your staff have done an excellent job repairing and replacing critical equipment in a timely manner and have a good testing program. For a system of this size and complexity, very few deficiencies were noted during the survey. This speaks well of the water operators. Once again, I just want to shout out to our staff does an excellent job at maintaining our water system. Then one of the last sentences there, I commend you and your team's efforts in lowering the copper values in the last lead and copper monitoring period, though I believe there's still much work to be done. As you know, I've brought things to the board over the last 3 years, and we've expended quite a bit of funds on studies and engineering reports and things on corrosion control within our water system, but I think it's paying dividends. And that statement right there, that's from our DNR water engineers. So it really is showing progress. I will say that the new water engineer we had a longtime water engineer, and we've got a relatively newcomer doing our reports now, but he is getting assistance from the other staff at DNR, and it's been a pleasure working with him for about a year he's been with us now.
Alejandro?
Yeah, I was trying not to say his name because I know I'm going to botch it. So I know Jim can say it better than I can. I always get it wrong when I say it, so I think it's Alejandro Avalos is what it is, so.
Aldernatt?
Yeah, just two quick questions. First off, so looking at the two minor deficiencies, which is the one that you corrected and which is the one that?
The second one, we've already corrected with the reservoir overflows has been already performed, and we got it before April 1st. So in the next month, we just got to get up to the reservoir and put some replacement gaskets on the hatches. That's not a hard task. We've just been waiting for it to warm up.
Okay, is this one that if it's not done by April 1st, that we can start getting fines?
We could, all we would do, if you read the report, we could, if we had poor weather or wanted to wait, we just basically send them an email and request an extension, and they would readily give us an extension of a month or two if we so needed. I think we'll have it done though, that we won't need that, but we could get an extension.
Okay.
I move that we accept the sanitary water survey results from the Wisconsin DNR inspection and place them on file. And also thanks go out to Jared and the entire department for doing such a good job. We really appreciate the good service that you're, good care that you're taking of this resource.
A second.
Motion by Mayor Kim, second by Aldernatt to accept and place on file the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources Water System Sanitary Survey. Discussion.
Just want to also, I guess, bandwagon on with the mayor. That really is an astounding result. Water is very closely monitored, and usually you do have much more lengthy lists. It doesn't mean that your water's totally broken, but they are so fine in what they're measuring. So that's a remarkable achievement.
Thank you, Aldernatt. If I also like to give quick input. I know I've spoken with Jim Prindle a couple times up at Works and gone up there personally and sat down with him, and he's reviewed the whole copper situation and it showed me personally the progress that they have made. And yes, there is more progress to be made, but I know he was very pleased and he shared that with me. So I'm very appreciative of the work. This report obviously is a reflection of our staff, of Jared and Shane Stoder and Jim Prindle and all accompanying staff. And there were three excellents. You know, the person who did this report, you know, 3 times they said excellent. And to get that kind of report when it comes to water, I thought was very, like I said, very indicative of our staff. And just want to thank them for all their hard work, because I think it's so easy to take water for granted. And I feel strongly the city of Onalaska is in a very good place because of the continued investment that we continue to make. So thank you. Any other discussion at this time? Hearing none, all those in favor of placing the report on file, say aye.
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 Aye. Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Item 14, review and consideration of 2021 pavement maintenance. We could take these one at a time.
Yep.
Jared, item A.
Purchase of fiber patching material. Once again, this is our yearly pavement maintenance program. I feel this is some of the best money we spend in the city of Onalaska on our streets. If you look at our streets between our crack filling, fiber patching, saw seal, chip sealing, maintenance that we do, paving of streets, I'd put our streets up against anybody in our area. But it really starts by not letting them go, which we've been good over the last 30 years of trying to really stay on top of things. And this is just one of the, just our yearly work that we have done. So first thing I have is purchase fiber patch material. We'd recommend purchasing a truckload, a whole semi-load of approximately 45,000 pounds of material from Sherwin Industries. We put down a Craftco polyfiber, and this is our Wisconsin distributor. So that's the reason there's only one price. That price actually went down a few $100s for the semi-load than last year's price. So we're recommending approval of purchase of the semi-load of crack filling material.
Jared, where do we store that?
That's one of the beauties of getting the whole semi-load is we get it, they unload it, and we basically usually put it down within about 6 weeks of getting it unloaded. We've had other years where we've tried to, we've gotten either too much and then we get in a bind trying to put it somewhere over the winter, because actually if it stays outside too long, it actually starts kind of oozing and melting. So we got down to, last few years, we got down to a pretty good science where we get rid of the whole truckload within 2 months.
So you just put it in the parking lot?
We just put it in the yard,
That's
in our
all I
public
was
works
asking.
yard, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. I move that we approve the purchase of the fiber patching materials from Sherwin Industries for the amount of $22,149.
Second.
Motion by Mayor Kim, second by Alder Not. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor of said motion say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Item 14B, installation of fiber patching material. Jared.
This is actually taking that material we just would get from Craftco and installing it. We did get a price from Farner of $1.73 per pound. Also got a price from the Cross County Highway Department of $1.79. We are recommending Farner at $1.73 a pound, putting down that 45,000 pounds. Then because just for the reason the mayor just said, we always use a little bit of their material, so that way we don't ever have to worry about extra. So we are actually requesting that they'll put down approximately 10,000 pounds of their own material. So once we get done, we're requesting $109,300 for this work to do the polyfiber patching, crack filling in city streets for 2021.
I will move that we approve the fiber patching of city streets with the quote of $109,300.
I'll second.
Motion by Alder Not, second by Mayor Kim.
I have a question.
Mayor Kim.
You go first.
No,
You're
I
probably gonna
just want to clarify that's with Farner asphalt seals,
Farner
and then I'll
asphalt,
defer to the mayor's question.
Okay, so do we normally have La Crosse County Highway Department do this, or?
We have in the past. Yeah, it's been probably 6 years. They did Main Street out here. That's probably 4 years ago. They did Main Street because they actually outbid Farner on Main Street. One of the things with Farner versus some of the other crack filling entities that you can get prices from in the state, if you have ever seen them doing crack filling, which I'm sure you have because it takes us about 3 weeks, is their traffic control is spot on. There is no having for me or Kevin or one of our employees to kind of follow them around and tell them to get signage out or make sure their traffic control is in order. They are the best outfit I've ever seen putting traffic control out for what they do. There's never that I've seen a problem with having traffic going the wrong way, or it looks like someone's in the wrong spot at the wrong time. It is spot on, but that saves our city staff a lot of time in trying to keep track of things, trying to make sure things are safe, and also it helps our citizens and motoring public at the same time. But I am sure that we could probably find a cost that is cheaper, but it would be a long, hard-fought battle trying to get them to do it right. Actually, Farner is owned by Matthew Construction. It's a subsidiary of Matthew Construction, so Matthew Construction out of Onalaska. So they're taught to do it the right way.
Thank you, Jared.
Okay.
So we have a motion on the floor. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of said motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Item 14C, asphalt pavement expansion joint installation. Jared.
Thank you. We don't have a lot of new paving this year, but we do want to put saw seal joints on the Second Avenue Southwest project. We have had Farner Asphalt do this for a number of years. They started the first year back in 1997 on Theater Road and been doing it many years since. They are the only outfit that actually does this, so that's the reason for the only cost estimate. At $262 per foot, it is within, it's about 2% over what we had for price last year. That would mean if we do the 2,000 lineal feet, we're looking for approval of $5,240 for saw seal by Farner Asphalt Sealers.
I thought the 5,240 was just an estimate, though.
Yeah, it's yeah,
Okay, I'll just word it that way.
be with, we're not gonna, we'll be within reason.
Okay. I move that we approve the saw and seal of the expansion joints using Farner asphalt at a cost of $2.62 a foot.
Yep.
With an approximate cost of $5,240.
I'll Second.
Motion by Mayor Kim, second by Alder Knott. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor of said motion say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Item 14B, center line painting. Jared.
We have two quotes enclosed in your packet for centerline painting. We have had Twin City Striping do centerline painting for many years, on and off between them and Farner. Twin City Striping, actually, the owner retired. They've dissolved the business, so we actually did find another painting contractor by the name of Sir Lines-A-Lot. Feel they can do the work. It's an odd name, but they do municipal work and striping. Their price is 8.7 cents per lineal foot. It'd be approximately 180,000 feet for approximate cost of 15,660, depending on the exact footage that we have done.
Jared.
Make a motion that we approve the center line painting contract with Sir Lines-A-Lot to the, not to exceed $15,660.
I'll second.
Motion by Alder Knott, second by Mayor Kim to approve the center line painting to Sir Lines-A-Lot in the amount not to exceed $15,660. Jared.
Just to, so we'll be within the latitude again, because we don't have the exact footage until we do it, depending on what we end up doing. We may be a couple $100 below or above that amount, but it'll be very close to that amount.
I need to amend my motion then?
It'd be nice to have a little bit of latitude there if we could.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that we approve, first off, somebody will have to take back their second, right?
I'll withdraw my second.
And I'll revoke my initial motion, and I'll make a motion that we approve the contract with Sir Lines-A-Lot for the striping and the to the sum of approximately 15,000, what was it? 15,000.
660.
660, you said?
Yep.
Yep.
Yes, 15,660. Thank you.
Second.
A motion by Alder Knott, second by Mayor Kim to award the center line painting to Sir Lines-A-Lot in the approximate amount of $15,660. Discussion. Jared.
That's at 8.7 cents per lineal foot.
Roger.
0.087 cents per lineal foot. Okay, got it. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of said motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Item 14E, chip seal. Jared.
We have had La Crosse County perform chip sealing within our community for 25 years. We have a very good relationship with them, get a good product. Every year they perform the product, they've either come in at the estimated price or less. We're using $1.50 per square yard for an estimated price, which is the same price as last year. Last year, they actually came in because oil prices were down pretty drastically. Our price actually came in at about $1.25, $1.30, so we saw a savings last year. But without them bidding out the oil yet for the emulsion for the chip seal, we're still using that $1.50. With that, we'd be doing 153,900 square yards for a total project cost of $230,850. And that was budgeted through the 21 capital improvements budget.
Jared.
I move that we approve the 2021 chip sealing plan using the La Crosse County Highway Department for an approximate cost of $230,850.
Second.
Motion by Mayor Kim, second by Alder Knott. Discussion. Jared, do you need in there about the $1.50 per square yard, or we're going to assume that that's implied per the agenda package?
Yeah, that's
approximate.
that's the approximate cost that we use to calculate it, correct?
Any discussion? Mayor Kim?
Thank you. Jared, I wonder, looking at this total sum of projects for the 2021 pavement maintenance, how does the total of these 5 items compare to the total budgeted, just in general terms, not exactly?
So in general terms, we are over what's in the 21 capital improvement budget, but we have savings from the previous year that if we do perform all these projects as what the estimated cost is, we would have dollars in reserve to pay for them. Typically, we've seen these projects come in a little bit less, so we'd be pretty close to what we had budgeted. But we do have funds in the 2020 capital improvement project that could pay for these items.
Thank you.
I think Fred would probably concur.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of said motion for item 14E regarding the chip seal, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Item 15, review and consideration of professional engineering services for 2021 unidirectional flushing plan.
In 2020, we completed zones 2, 3, and 4 for the unidirectional flushing. This is where we have a plan where our staff goes out, turns off certain valves, and flushes out of certain hydrants, and they may even flush 2 hydrants at a time to get a certain velocity in the pipe to scour the pipe. It is amazing once you turn off certain areas and flush out of certain hydrants, what you'll get out of the pipe that you wouldn't get by just turning it on. With this, those areas were accomplished last year. We did see great gains. We do feel this actually helps us in our corrosion control by getting our pipes even as clean as we can get them. With this, we're requesting zones 1 and 5 to be done this year to complete the work. We did have the quote last year for all zones 1 through 5, but we broke it into 2 projects because it came in at a little bit more than we thought it was going to. So we broke it into 2 projects. So city staff's requesting zones 1 and 5 be completed in 2021 by SEH, who does our water modeling. At a cost of $12,500 to be taken out of the operating budget for the water utility.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Mayor Kim, second by Alder Knott to approve the professional engineering services for 2021 unidirectional flushing plan. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor of said motion say aye.
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 Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Item 16, review and consideration of professional archaeologist services for the 2021 utility project. Jared.
So the 2021 utility project does include 2nd Avenue Southwest, which is in the uncatalogued burial district that is regulated by the state of Wisconsin. We will need to get a permit and have an archaeologist on site whenever we're doing any disturbance of areas that are undisturbed previously. We have used Mississippi Valley Archaeology Center for many projects over the years. This would be another project that we were proposing to use them. They are proposing a fee of $4,978, which includes the permitting process to assist the city in filling out the permits, and also to have the on-site archaeologist on site, and any curation for the small amount of curation is included within the price too. So staff's recommending to use Mississippi Valley Archaeology Center for the project for $4,978. And I'll make that in the form of a motion.
Second.
Motion by Jared, second by Mayor Kim to approve the professional archaeologist services for the 2021 utility project to award to Mississippi Valley Archaeology Center in the amount of $4,978. Discussion. Jared.
I don't envision this area being the hotbed like we've had in some other spots in the city, but just understanding that if we would find items or have more contacts with items, the price may be more and we'd have to bring that back to the board.
Thank you, Jared. We've had that happen before, so.
But then you'll have to come back because we did it not to exceed.
That's-
So
and
then
that's-
we'll have to
that's
kind
fine.
of have a change order situation.
That's how it's written inside the contract here too, is not to exceed, so.
Kevin, did you want to add
Yeah,
something?
just for the board's knowledge, the area in question is only the first 300 feet off of State Highway 35. So not talking a very large area. And there's not a lot of construction activity in that area for, excavation. So hopefully good, but a small area.
Thank you, Kevin. All in favor of said motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Item 17, review and consideration of air compressor purchase. Jared.
We did have included within the approved 2021 operating budget, the purchase of a new air compressor. The unit we have now, it's getting to the point where the mechanic's having troubles getting it fixed, finding parts. We did receive 2 quotes. We had $25,000 in the budget, and we are recommending the purchase from Miller Bradford Reedsburg with trade-in of our old unit for a total cost of $20,990.
Just note that is correct on page 103, but
Yep.
it is in little different by $90 than what's on 102.
Yep.
Okay,
That's on me.
and just note.
If that's the worst thing you do.
I'll
Big budget or pretty big.
make a
budget.
motion that we approve the purchase of the compressor from Miller Bradford and Riseburg, Inc. with the price of $20,990.
Second.
Motion by Aldernaut, seconded by Mayor Kim. Discussion. Hearing none. All those in favor of said motion say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Item 18. Pay estimates. Waukesha Construction Company, Inc., Strand Associates, Inc., Short Elliott Hendrickson, Inc., Tribute Design Services, State of Wisconsin, DOT, and any other contractor slash developer. Jared has handed out a new updated Public Works monthly estimates tonight dated March 2nd, 2021, with a total of 8 items.
I move to approve the pay estimates 1 through 8 listed on the summary dated March 2nd, 2021.
I'll second that.
Motion by Mayor Kim, second by Aldernaut, to approve the monthly pay estimates, items 1 through 8, dated March 2nd, 2021. Discussion. Hearing none. All those in favor of said motion say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes unanimously. Item 19, adjournment.
Move that we adjourn.
Seconded.
I was going to say, no one wants to go home.
Well, I thought Fred wanted to participate in one motion. I didn't even ask him a bunch of questions.
Right. So motion by Aldernaut, second by Fred to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and we are adjourned at 8:03 this evening. Thank you, everyone, for coming in and all your work on tonight's packet. This was a big one, and we got a lot accomplished tonight.